I know we just presented a scary montage of its causes and adverse effects, but as you will soon find out by the end of this documentary, there is hope for a better future. Now, let's begin our discussion by going back to our beloved university, the Ateneo. We interviewed some of the country's brightest on what they think global warming is.
Warming is basically the buildup of carbon dioxide emissions, mainly produced by man, wherein it traps the heat inside the earth.
Global warming is the warming of the earth. It is when the ozone layer depletes because of the amount of carbon released into the atmosphere.
They were quite close, but what is global warming really?
First, let's start with the assumption that humans don't exist and what its implications are on how the Earth's temperature works. The Earth absorbs light from the sun, which is mostly visible light. To release that light energy, Earth also emits light. But because the Earth is cooler than the sun, it emits lower energy infrared light. What this means is that essentially, the planet's surface transforms most of the visible light it gets from the sun into infrared light. Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, such as methane and carbon dioxide, let visible light pass through, but absorb infrared light, causing the atmosphere to retain heat. This energy can be absorbed and emitted many times before it gets reflected back into outer space. The added time that this heat hangs around allows Earth to support life as we know it. Without this so-called greenhouse effect, the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere would be about 50 degrees Fahrenheit cooler, which is below the freezing point of ice. How have humans changed things? Since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century, atmospheric carbon dioxide has increased by 40% and methane has almost tripled. This doesn't even take into account the increase in other greenhouse gases such as nitrous oxide, ozone, and chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs. How did this happen? Well, we can simply attribute this to how we humans continue to pollute the Earth. These increases cause extra infrared light absorption, meaning an exacerbated greenhouse effect, which has caused the Earth to fall above its typical temperature range. To put things simpler, energy that enters Earth has a harder time leaving it, causing the planet's average temperature to increase, thus producing global climate change or global warming.
Their explanations may have been simpler, but these kids clearly know their stuff. Now, let's see how they answer the next question. Do you think global warming has adverse effects on the human race?
Yes, I think that it has a drastic effect on humans.
Since it affects our food, livability of the temperature.
Once again, these smart Athenians have proven their wit and their vast understanding of the concept. But does this knowledge translate into action? After following a bunch of people around, it turns out Athenians don't always dispose of their trash properly. Also, they simply refuse to play go. The traffic in Katipunan?
We think they are the primary cause. To make things worse, a lot of them smoke too.
Things may appear to be insignificant, but collectively, they contribute to what is already an alarming amount of greenhouse gases emitted into the atmosphere. By now, we've established that global warming is a deadly force, but like we said, there is hope. And to end our discussion, we now turn to Miss Ebony Lautner, an expert on the field of climate change.
What's really important is that we balance what we release into the air, make sure we plant more trees, make sure we make sustainable decisions at home. Like, for example, you make sure to unplug all of your devices before you leave the house, or that you use chemicals, or even my dishwashing soap, for example, is something that I know is safe for the fishes. Because at the end of the day, those small choices make a big difference, so it really makes a ripple. But yeah, I think more than that, to be able to mitigate the effects of climate change, it has to be a conversation between not only you and I, but also governments and also businesses, because they're really the ones who can create change at scale.
That ends our documentary. Thank you everyone.